You've probably seen some of his videos floating around online, but maybe what you didn't realize is that he's used these videos to drive his business from $15,000 a year to generating over 8 figures per year. Let's talk about Nick Bare.
Consistently show up and put in the work. That's it. Have a plan, stick to the plan, and even when you don't want to, you gotta fucking do it.
So we're gonna look at how he got from A to B and how he drove organic traffic to his brand just using a camera. So Nick was in the Army when he decided to start his own business. And as someone with a background in fitness, after college, he figured that instead of working for a health or fitness company, he'd try to start one himself. So while he was serving, he got a loan from the Army and started buying the ingredients to make his own health supplements, which allowed him to create the products at a lower cost than buying the supplements with the ingredients already combined. Now, to promote the product, he posted videos about his life in the Army, and he had some decent success with this, but it was really when Nick served in South Korea and started making videos showing what the day in the life looked like in the military there, that's when his subscriber count skyrocketed. And this is when BPN went from something that could potentially work to something that would become his full-time thing for the next 10 years. So after he left the Army, Nick went all in on BPN, but now as a civilian, sharing his story as an athlete, not as a soldier.
So this morning is my last day in the Army.
So he put himself through personal challenges such as running marathons, doing triathlons, hybrid training, ultra marathons, all driven by the motto and the brand's underlying mantra, go one more. Go one more! And he was showing his audience that he was living for fitness. And through this, he was building a community inspired to achieve the same thing. The more he did this, the more his company grew. And in just 8 years, Nick turned his little project into a huge business that generates 8 figures per year.
It took us 8 years to hit 8-figure revenue mark.
I think this is a pretty awesome story and a model for a lot of business owners. From my perspective of having worked with and looked through hundreds of online businesses over my years at Empire Flippers, here are some of the key takeaways that I've seen with BPN and with the businesses succeeding on the Empire Flippers marketplace today. And hopefully you can use this to achieve success in your own business. But first, let's talk about the benefits of the DTC or the D2C business model. So the business model that BPN operates within is the DTC or direct to consumer e-commerce business model. Now, this is different in many ways from the Amazon FBA route. So imagine if you've got a product to sell, instead of sending it off to Amazon to do the selling for you, you sell it straight to the people who want to buy it right from your own website. So think of sites built on Shopify, Magento, or something that's custom built. But why would you go down the DTC route instead of the Amazon FBA route? First off, the DTC route enables you to interact with your customers and grow an audience around a brand. On Amazon, you're kind of limited to dealing with just the product that someone bought. But with DTC, if you have a YouTube channel with followers, for example, you can use that platform to continue selling your products or to launch new products if you decide to expand your brand line. And this differs from Amazon, where you're competing with other Amazon sellers to improve your organic ranking and then get on page 1 of your product category. With DTC, you're talking directly to your customers. And a huge benefit of building your audience is that your fans maybe don't even think about looking at other competitors because they trust you and they like your stuff. Nick was eventually able to also reinvest some of the capital to go one step further and acquire his own warehouse, which is used for fulfilling his products and producing YouTube videos. Now, I point this out because one reason why people focus on Amazon FBA is they can send their inventory to Amazon fulfillment centers and they don't need to invest in anything outside of just inventory. But if you build your business to the level to where you can consider it, getting a warehouse gives you that flexibility of storing different types of products that Amazon might not store or might be very expensive to store, but also you're using your e-commerce business to buy other asset classes. And in doing so, you're diversifying your portfolio. A lot of investors, they tend to see online businesses as more volatile and unstable compared to something like real estate. And this is a way of using online business to build something with more perceived stability. And that's relevant in many instances, such as owning collateral in the form of real estate, so that you can get a business loan if that's something that you want to do for your business. Whereas if you have just a fully online business without collateral, that may be a little bit more difficult to secure a loan. The next thing I want to highlight is about the power of telling a story and applying that to your brand. So Nick Bare's journey with BPN is a classic example of how using media can really transform a personal journey into a thriving brand. At his initial launch, he sent products to YouTubers in exchange for a shout out, but the launch was quieter than he expected. He had a few sales. Actually, he did pretty well. He got $15,000 in that year, and that wasn't bad at all, but the business really got moving once Nick focused his content on his own life. From the video that truly exploded his channel, which was a day in the life of an infantry platoon leader, to the videos years later of him running ultra marathons, Nick's focus on storytelling is what has made the brand stand out amongst a sea of supplements. And to extend that thought, I want to talk about connecting your personal brand to your product. So in addition to the storytelling component, Nick connected his personal brand to the BPN brand, and that was another strong strategic move in my opinion. People can relate to and see themselves in stories and in other people. Bigger brands definitely leverage this by having pro athletes serve as the face of their products. I'm thinking companies like Nike, Adidas, or really any other major sports brand. But I think what BPN demonstrates is how a small or medium-sized e-commerce business can leverage the same thing. If you personally are aligned with your brand in a way where you embody your customer avatar, you can serve as a champion for your brand, but also for your customers. And in doing so, you become what author Daniel Priestley calls a key person of influence, which is essentially becoming the person that people think of in your specific niche. And I think Nick has demonstrated how someone can become a key person of influence by strategically building their personal brand alongside their business brand. And BPN is not the largest supplements brand in the world, not even close, but hopefully this empowers you more than anything because it shows that you can still compete amongst much larger brands and own an extremely successful business without having to be the biggest player in the space. Whether you decide to sell e-commerce products, SaaS subscriptions, or create content, you have a much better chance of standing out and building a thriving business, and potentially one that could sell possibly on Empire Flippers for a life-changing exit. Now, if you want to stay on the pulse of the online business ecosystem, one way you could do that easily is by signing up for our free newsletter, This Week in M&A, where we cover the largest events happening in the online business world on a weekly basis. And I'll leave a link to sign up below. And if you're interested in hearing about how Dan Coe built a digital product business making $100,000 per month as a single person business, then click on the video here. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.